I thought he'd never leave until he did. I'm writing this from a throwaway account because the shame of what I've done is too heavy to carry in the light. I never thought I'd be the villain in my own story. But here I am, lost, humiliated, and left to sit in the wreckage I created. My name is Maya, I'm 24. And until a few days ago, I was married to Ethan. He's 26. We'd been together for 3 years, married after falling in love during college. At the time I thought we had something real, something solid. Looking back now, I see it clearly. Ethan was the steady foundation. I was the storm. Ethan wasn't flashy. He was soft-spoken, patient to a fault, and had a kind of quiet strength that most people overlook. He loved books, slow mornings, and documentaries about the universe. Me. I thrived on noise, crowded rooms, loud laughter, the rush of attention. I organized game nights, hosted themed parties, and dragged Ethan into every chaotic gathering like he was my personal +1. But he never complained. He smiled through it all, even when I knew it wasn't his scene. He learned to remember how I liked my coffee, canceled his plans without hesitation when I needed something, and carried the entire weight of our home. No kids, no shared career burden. I didn't have a job by choice. Still he cooked, cleaned, paid every bill. And he never once threw it in my face. He didn't keep score. And I never gave him credit. Worse, I started resenting him for it. It began when I reconnected with old college friends. The ones who still partied like the semester never ended. They laughed when I told them about Ethan. Said I was wasting my best years playing house. That I was too lively, too wild to be shackled to someone so boring. And the part that still sickens me, I started to believe them. One night, drunk off cheap vodka and peer validation, I made a joke about Ethan. How he was always so agreeable. How he'd probably jump off a cliff if I asked him to. Everyone laughed. I laughed. And something dark crept in. I mistook that laugh for power. That became my role in the group. The girl with the whipped husband. Every time we got together, they'd make cracks about Ethan being trained. And instead of defending him, I leaned in. I became the one who made him the punchline. Who dismissed his thoughts at dinner. Who rolled her eyes when he spoke. He heard. He always heard. But he never once confronted me. He still left notes on the bathroom mirror. Still texted me reminders to eat when I skipped meals. Still held my hand when I faked smiles at his family gatherings. I mistook his kindness for weakness. I thought he'd never leave. I was wrong. It was a Saturday night, the neighborhood block party. Ethan manned the grill like always, flipping burgers for everyone with that calm smile he wore like armor. I was 2 drinks in, standing with my friends when someone cracked another joke about Ethan being my shadow. And I, drunk on my own cruelty, said, "Please. He's got no spine." If I told him to sit and stay, he'd wag his tail. The group burst into laughter. But the sound died quickly. Because Ethan was standing right there, holding a plate of food. Frozen. The look in his eyes wasn't anger. It was something far worse. It was clarity. Cold, final, and absolute. "We need to talk," he said, his voice quiet but firm. He led me away from the crowd, and I followed like a scolded child. I tried to laugh it off, but his face was stone. "I'm done being your target, Maya," he said. "I gave you everything. And all you've done is chip away at who I am. I'm leaving. Your things will be on the porch." He walked away. I stood there stunned, the air knocked out of me. I ran after him, convinced he was bluffing. He wasn't. When I got home, my clothes were folded in 2 suitcases by the door. My phone sat on top of them. Silent. Cried. Begged. I tried everything, from empty apologies to sobbing on my knees. But he didn't raise his voice. He didn't curse. He just said, "That's enough. You don't get to treat someone like this and expect them to stay." When I refused to leave, he looked me in the eye and said, "If you don't go, I'll call the police." That's when it hit me. He meant every word. The man who had always stood behind me had finally drawn a line. And this time I was on the other side of it. I walked away that night with mascara-streaked cheeks and a duffel bag in hand, past the very neighbors who had laughed with me hours before. No one said a word. It's been 4 days. I'm back at my parents' house. Ethan hasn't answered a single call or message. Maybe he never will. And honestly, I don't know if I deserve forgiveness. I broke something sacred. I turned a gentle man into a cautionary tale. I chose approval from people who never truly cared over the loyalty of someone who loved me without conditions. Ethan didn't just find the strength to leave. He found the strength to protect his peace. And in doing so, he saved himself from me. If you're reading this and think I'm terrible, you're probably right. But maybe by admitting the worst parts of myself, someone else out there will pause before mocking the quiet love that holds their world together.